welcome to another episode of LTWS Backstage Chronicles, where we take you behind the scenes of the Little Theater of Winston-Salem. I'm your host, Jessica Perry, and today's episode is filled with warmth, reflection, and the holiday spirit. In this episode, Behind the Spirit of a Christmas Carol, we'll explore the timeless themes of love, redemption, and kindness that make Dickens' classic story such a powerful holiday tradition. Joining me today are Director Jim McKeny, along with two of our talented cast members, Chuck King, who plays Ebenezer Scrooge, and Dave Hoffman, who brings Bob Cratchit to life. Together, we'll talk about what it means to revisit this story year after year and how it continues to move and inspire audiences of all ages. Before we get started, don't forget to subscribe to LTWS Backstage Chronicles wherever you listen to podcasts so you never miss an episode. And if you enjoyed today's show, please leave us a review. It really helps us share the magic of community theater with more listeners. Now let's dive in. So welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. I'm really excited to get to talk with you. Before we begin, I just want to do a little roundabout so our listeners can be introduced to you, hear your voice, and put a name to the voice. I'm going to go ahead and start with right in front of me is Chuck King playing Ebenezer Scrooge.
Well, good afternoon. Yes, this is Chuck, and it's great to be here. Always love doing anything with the Little Theater, I must say.
Yay, so excited. And then we have Dave Hoffman, a newcomer to the Little Theater, playing Bob Cratchit for us this season.
Yes, indeed. Hello, everyone. It's a thrill to be able to be here. It will be my first production with Little Theater of Winston-Salem, and I'm so excited to be a part of such a tremendously talented and exciting cast.
And last, but certainly not least, the infamous, the amazing director, Jim McKeny.
And you know I didn't pay her one dime to say all of that. Hi, Jessica. Thanks for having us.
So, how's everyone doing? How are we feeling in the rehearsal process right now?
Well, it's early days yet. But around about this time, you start to get a feel for whether or not there are enough days in a month for you to achieve what you've got to achieve. And frankly, Chuck and I were sitting down chatting about this last night. And we think we've got plenty of time. We got all the time we need to get
That's what we always think at this time.
Yeah. So we have a different cast than last time, although we have, I think, 5 returning cast members from the previous production. But I like what we've got. I like the group. I think they're a good, solid bunch of performers.
So what's it like bringing this story back for another time and working with different cast members? Like, how does the story change or evolve as a director?
Well, I always strive to find the comedic element in any story because comedy was always my thing. And with the show last year, I tried, and successfully, I think, from what I heard, found several comedic moments. This year, we're going just for a little bit of comedy, but more of the dramatic element.
Oh, okay.
So that's the difference this time.
So it's really something you come and see it every year. You're going to get a little bit of a different story every time.
Yes, and one of these days, Charlie, if you're listening, I will get it right. Charlie Lovett is the adapter of the Charles Dickens classic.
Yes, we love Charlie very much. So it seems like you have worked with Chuck before?
This is the very first time in all the years I've lived here that Chuck and I have worked together. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay. So I know you've been around the scene for a bit as well. You've done stuff with Little Theater in the past. I've heard famous stories of Man of La Mancha.
Well, let's see here. My first play with Little Theater was Man of La Mancha, a mere 42 years ago.
No way.
Well, I was 2 years old at the time, and I'm sticking with that math, okay? 42 years ago. And then been in I was in a production of Godspell, Children of Eden, and most recently with Little Theater, reprised Man of La Mancha 6 years ago. And so, it's been spread out over a lot of years.
So it sounds like you like doing musicals a little bit more. What made you want to come out for A Christmas Carol?
And it's me. The answer is me, right, Chuck?
Absolutely.
I was going to say nothing else. Jim McKeny was the reason.
I mean, that's enough of an answer for me.
Well, I felt it was enough for me. But in addition to that very excellent reason, I do have to say I have loved this story since I was a little boy. And many years ago, when I was at UNCG, I was in a production of the musical version of it, Scrooge, and I played Bob Cratchit, and really enjoyed being in that, but never had really another opportunity to participate in a Christmas Carol of any kind. And when I saw that this was auditioning, I thought, this might be my one chance to get back into it. And it's almost the fact that it isn't a musical, it really drew me into it as well. Because, pretty much every time I've been on stage in Winston-Salem, I've been singing also. And now this time I just get to harumph and be grumpy and then be all smiles.
So I know you just said that it was one of your favorite stories. What do you think about this adaptation specifically? I know that Charlie gives it a little bit more of a heartwarming ending, that full, complete redemption arc that is not often done in other productions.
It's Charlie has brought forth a really literate rendition of this of the story, and it's very Dickensian, and it really does take you back to that Victorian era through the language that he uses, and yet at the same time it's not arcane at all. It still seems quite relevant, and he's able to draw out in not a really terribly long period of time a lot of emotion, and because the redemption part of the play stretches out just a little bit more, you get to see so many different forms of how love expresses itself through joy and all of that. It's quite touching and a little goose pimply too when you really think about it. And perfect time of year to be presenting it.
Yeah, I think we all need like a really just feel good moment, especially during the holidays and especially during this time as well. I'm sorry, Dave, I haven't given you a chance to speak, but I have one other question for Chuck I want to ask. So for those who have seen this show and maybe season after season, they're going to get a new Scrooge this year, and you may not know how our Scrooge has been done in the past, but what has been your take on bringing Scrooge to life? Have you had any inspiration or thoughts about your character for Scrooge?
Well, having read the story from when I was quite young, and then seeing many iterations of it, lots of different versions. What's always drawn me to it is the fact that Ebenezer Scrooge is, he's an extremely unpleasant man, but there's so much underneath all of that unpleasantness that has brought that out in him, that it's during the moments with the three different spirits that he's able to touch into those moments that kind of turned him away from his fellow man. And then all of a sudden he realizes everything he's been missing out on. And to me, that's what I'm searching for in this, is that kind of cold, steely beginning where there's just like ice water running through his veins. And then all of a sudden that thaw starts, and then little by little, he's just all warmth by the end. And, hopefully somewhere along the line that will come out in the performance.
So, Dave, you mentioned before we started recording that you were relatively new to Winston-Salem. Where did you say that you had come from before?
Yeah, so my wife and I are originally from the middle United States. That's where we met and spent a few wonderful years together before we recently moved from western New York State. And so we've been here in Winston-Salem for just a little under a year now, and we absolutely love it here. it's been really comforting to know that we're going to be here in this part of North Carolina for a very long time, because the people have been wonderful, the food is great, and there are so many exciting things to do here within the city limits, including having the marvelous opportunity to be able to be a part of the Little Theater of Winston-Salem.
So is this your first show that you have done as an actor in Winston-Salem?
Yes, that's correct. And first acting opportunity in quite some time. I have a little bit of a background recreationally, being able to get involved in theater. And with my profession, I have the opportunity to very frequently be in front of groups of anywhere from 5 to 500, being able to present. And so being able to be on stage and being able to convey a message is not unfamiliar to me. But being able to with this tremendous cast and especially with I will be eternally grateful, no matter how this goes. I will be eternally grateful to Jim for being able to give me this opportunity to be able to, as you were kind enough to be able to say at the very beginning, breathe life into the character of Bob Cratchit and be able to make a hopefully triumphant return to the stage.
So what is it that you do for a living?
Yeah, so I have the opportunity to work just down the road at Forsyth Technical Community College, and I have the opportunity to work with students in majors and programs as diverse as accounting and welding to trade programs in carpentry and plumbing. And I get to work with students just to make sure that they get pointed in the right direction for a lot of different resources and programs, and just making sure that they're aware of all the different components that are at their disposal for them to be able to be successful through their certificate, diploma, or associate degree program.
So I don't know if a lot of people know this. I'm sure most people do, but there's a lot of people who aren't theater regulars that might listen to this podcast that our actors are volunteers. They are not paid. They have day jobs. They come from all walks of life. And I mean, everything from educators to doctors to teachers. Well, I said educators. Anyway, so yes, they all come together and you bring these very diverse groups of people, and they all come with the same motivation of telling this story, and it builds this community. And I believe that Little Theater, I'm very biased on this, but you both, any of you can throw in your opinion. I believe the Little Theater creates such a warm and inviting environment, which makes it really, really easy to also do the work of telling the story and to fall in love, honestly, with theater. It's really easy to fall in love with theater, in my opinion. So what is your experience? I know you said you've done stuff on and off with Little Theater, Chuck, and this is your first time working with the Little Theater. Feel free to open up and share, talk over one another.
Fight it out. I think for myself, when I came here from Los Angeles in the late 80s, I was looking for a theater home. And it took a couple of years for me to find the Little Theater. But when I did, I knew that this was going to be my place. That this is where I fit in. This is where I felt the most at home. And it's never wavered. I'm surprised they still let me do things.
Let you, beg you, sure.
But in regards to this particular show, Charlie's adaptation of the classic, this allows both newcomers to the stage and seasoned performers to work together. It's always a 60-40, 70-30 kind of mix, and you have to roll with the punches, as they say. You can't speak to people, every performer, in the exact same language. Everybody understands differently. So that's a challenge for the director, but it's a good challenge, and so I don't know if that is the answer to your question or if I just rambled on mindlessly.
Well, I think that's kind of what community theater is all about. It does bring together a very wide range of people, and I guess the tie that binds in community theater is just that love of getting up there, whether you're on stage or whether you're working backstage or whatever it may be, that love of participating in something like this. And yeah, I guess skill levels are different amongst everybody involved, but at the same time, that enthusiasm level, it just seems to be the same among everybody. And to me, that's what community theater is all about. And I started working with community theater when I was in my teens, and I love it. It's a great outlet for everyone involved, and you get to know each other really, really well and enjoy being around each other a great deal also, and learning from masters such as Jim McKeny.
Absolutely.
Well, that's the wonderful thing about community theater. And when you are the inexperienced one and you get to work with people who have been doing it for years and some who have even done professional theater in their time, it helps give you that experience, elevate you, and make you want to do it over and over again. And it makes you a better actor and really appreciate what you're doing.
I certainly hope that the newcomers to the stage will be able to learn from people like Chuck and people like Dave McKeny, who plays Christmas Future and Marley, and David McDonald, who plays Christmas Present, we got 3 or 4 other people who have a vast level of experience on stage, that the new people will be able to watch and learn, because they may not understand what I'm saying all the time, but they can look at somebody else and they can say, oh, so maybe that's how I should be doing it. Not what Jim says, but that way.
Isn't that what being an actor is, though? Observing?
You have to observe, otherwise you're a failure as an actor. Yeah, it's what is the scientific principle? Observation and experiment. Yeah, it's a lot of that.
So I'm curious, Jim, you might have a better answer for this than anybody else here, but this is the first time we've had a rehearsal in the new space. What's that been like?
Well, we like it. You know, I see in the new space, which is going to be the Little Theater of Winston-Salem Center, a great deal of possibility, and we're in there in its rawest stage it will ever be. So there is a little bit of zigging and zagging that we need to do, but you know, it's the same anywhere you go. It's always a struggle for rehearsal space, it's a struggle for time, but now with the new center, all of that is going to go away. Once the rebuild is complete, we're going to have a home. We don't have to worry about where we're going to rehearse and what we're going to need for this, that, and the other. It's all going to be there.
It's a lot of excitement. Yeah. We're very excited about that. Dave, I'm curious, as the marketing director for the Little Theater, how did you hear about auditions for Christmas Carol and this opportunity?
It honestly started off with a web browser search, just to be able to continue to try to find ways to be able to get involved within the community. And this is where I owe a tremendous debt of gratitude to my wife, Elsie, because it was on a weekend that we were at home, I was in front of my computer, and I was looking at ways just to be able to continue to be able to make friends and get involved here within the Winston-Salem community, and came across classes that the Little Theater of Winston-Salem offers. And so I went directly to the website, and there at the very front was notice for auditions for very similar to Chuck. This is a story that I have read and admired for just about as long as I can remember. Of all of the wonderful Christmas stories that are out there, I think this is my absolute favorite. And so I showed the picture on the website with all the information to my wife, and I said, well, you know, rehearsals or auditions are here in a couple of days, and with a tremendous amount of love and admiration, she looked over and she said, go for it. Go for it. And so that gave me such a tremendous amount of confidence to be able to go, and then to be able to very gratefully to be able to get a call back, and it just started from being able to kind of take a look at ways to be able to get involved in the community, and finding out about the audition opportunity, and it's been a tremendous ride ever since.
I think it takes a lot of courage to move to a new location and show up to an audition to a place that you've never seen, never been to, not knowing anybody. I really admire that because it's not easy to do. I like to. So the very first audition I ever had was here with the Little Theater Winston-Salem. I did not get cast, and I let them know that all the time.
She's not better.
No, not at all. But it was a lovely opportunity. But I really admire someone that can just do that. And were you involved in any community theater beforehand, or was it just because of the move? You're like, you know what, now I want to get back in it?
Yeah, I would say that in high school, which was longer than I care to admit, I was involved in theater and set design and production, as well as being able to have the opportunity to act. And then after that, it was a handful of community theater opportunities. Primarily, it was community driven and charity murder mysteries that I had the opportunity to be involved in. So still on a volunteer basis, but doing like murder mystery dinner theater for different charitable causes. And then from there, just with life, having the opportunity to be able to work and being able to go back to graduate school, there's always part of me that has that theater background with me wherever I go, being cognizant of where I am in terms of stage presence and being able to make sure that everybody can be able to hear me speaking from my diaphragm. There's not a day that goes by where I don't use some component of theater to be able to try to find success in either the professional environment, or just being able to kind of get out and about and trying to be extrinsic and going out and meeting people and kind of putting myself out there.
I feel that theater does have a way of translating into building confidence in everything that you do in life. I don't know if you all have had that experience of needed for public speaking, or for me, Jim would never believe this, but I was such a shy, quiet kid in school. I really had a hard time like speaking out or being outspoken or outgoing. And then I started doing theater and realized I have a voice. And now I talk all the time. And they're like, okay, Jessica, shut up. That's enough. Just quiet. Oh, all right. It was something that absolutely changed my life. And when you get bit by the theater bug, as we like to say, it never leaves you. It stays in your bones and just lives there. And because it is that feeling of community and togetherness. And honestly, it's just like a bunch of grown people getting together and playing make-believe. And I think that is just a wonderful, fabulous thing. Everybody is just willing to be in touch with their inner child. And it's like, I see you. Like, we are the same. Mm-hmm. We're not the same. We're different, but we're the same. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And want to add anything?
Well, yeah, and I think one of the other things that it does, it builds a level of trust among everyone involved in the show as well. You walk in maybe knowing a couple of people, maybe knowing nobody. Who knows who you're going to know in there. And then after a couple of weeks of rehearsal, all of a sudden it's like, I've got people I can trust, that I can, they'll have my back if something happens. And I've been meaning to tell the cast that if I start just saying bah humbug just at will, that means I don't know where I am. and everyone's going to have to fall in and just kind of take up the slack. And but already getting to know them after these last couple of weeks, I know that they can and they will. And to me, that level of trust is one of the great parts of participating in theater, is that you just always feel like you got somebody watching out for you all the time.
Yeah, and it makes you really good at being adaptable, because you have to be like willing to pick up at any moment. Things happen. It is community theater. There are going to be mistakes. There's going to be things that happen at every single performance. They're never perfect. We try to get them as close to perfect as we can, but something is always going to happen. And it's nice to know that you have that trust that, like, it's okay. We're gonna keep going. No one will know. No one will know.
Keep telling
another
yourself.
chance to make it better than that.
Jim will know, but no one else will know.
He's pulling out his hair, but the audience is like, we loved it.
You want to see my bald spot? Apropos of what you said earlier, Jessica, about the courage that it takes, I don't know how many of the auditioners will hear this podcast, but it takes a lot of guts to just get up and audition. It's tremendously stressful. You're talking to somebody who's done over 1,000 auditions in his life and maybe gets 1% of the jobs that I auditioned for. But these people, we had, I don't know, 60 people come out to audition for the show.
Wow.
And we had to blaze through them in 3 hours. So that's a challenge for the production staff as well. But I just
great
want
problem
to
to have.
Yes, it is a good problem. I just want to let those who did not get cast know from the director how brave you were.
Oh, that's beautiful. I think that says a lot about the energy and love of the show as well. But yes, and if you didn't get cast, come back. Come audition for
Absolutely.
another show.
Come back.
Don't give up. Like there's always an opportunity. You never know what's going to happen. Like I said, I didn't get cast for the first show that I auditioned for with Little Theater. But the very first show I did was Murder on the Orient Express. And as you were saying, Chuck, about the trust and things, I didn't know anybody that I had never worked with a single person in that show before. And now any single one of those people could call me if they needed something and I would be there for them. And that's kind of like what happens in community theater.
It really, really does.
It's so beautiful. Just like Christmas Carol.
Nice,
It's about
nice
love and
segue.
redemption and family. It's like,
Sure.
In the rehearsals so far, and if you're listening to this podcast, you have probably already picked up on this clearly already, is that when Chuck talks about that trust process, this is where I have to really give him his flowers as somebody who is coming in, not only really having to dust off the acting muscles after a very long dormant period, but being able to come into a production that I think is high stakes in a way that, because this is so many folks' favorite Christmas story, because this is such a time-honored classic, this is where I really have to give Chuck his flowers for, in that lead character, in that starring role, being able to set the tone for the entire cast, for the entire crew. I've been able to share a lot of rehearsal stage time with Chuck so far, and he puts me at ease in the way that he takes his role seriously, but himself a little less so. And so there's smiles, there's laughs, there are opportunities to be able to take a deep breath and to be calm. And there are those moments every now and again where I think, every night there's going to be 210 people that this might be one of their favorite theatrical productions of all time. I want to be able to bring the role of Bob Cratchit justice. I want to be able to do right by Jim as the director. I want to be able to bring my absolute best to this role, but I also want to be able to have fun with it. And so I think that's where Chuck has done an incredible job so far of being able to set the tone, in the sense that he creates such a fun, relaxing environment where even after rehearsal, I can't wait to go home and even just pull my script out again, just so that I can be able to refresh on the things that we had talked about, so that when it comes time for the productions, that I feel like I can really be able to, in both hands, give 110%, but also be able to have the time of my life.
I've really got him hoodwinked.
No, he is absolutely right. Chuck sets the tone. He's like the pick, and everything goes around him. he has, it's just like Scrooge in the script. He has this power to make us happy, to make us sad, to make our day a chore or a pleasant experience. And it really trickles down from the lead role. And he is not a prima donna on any level, though he has every right to be. And I'm thrilled to death to be working with him.
Taking down that note, every right to be prima donna. Okay, here we go, kids.
Don't take it literally, Chuck.
So, what's it been like working with Teo?
Oh my God, Dave, he's your son.
Teo's been exceptional so far. I really admire the energy that he brings, and he's having a really good time. And when we're not running through lines, he had his tablet out, and he was playing these different games on it, and there was like a trivia game, which I love trivia, and so just being able to kind of hang out and spend time with him. And I also appreciate not only his approach to the role, because Jim, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but it was last year, it was kind of in a split, and so now he's going to be Tiny Tim for all of the productions, which I'm so proud of him for being willing to be able to take that on. There was one particular set of blocking that we were doing where we were going to determine whether it looked good for the blocking for me to be able to kind of lift him up. So we gave him a try, and somebody asked, all right, how does this, because it's comfortable for me. They wanted to say, all right, Teo, is this okay? And he said, yeah, it's a little wobbly. And so that got laughs from everybody in the audience. And so I appreciated that his willingness, again, to be able to kind of joke around and have that fun. And I think he brings such a wonderful energy to that role, and he's really going to be able to do it justice and really win over the hearts in the audience.
So, Jim, how has he grown from last year? And I mean as an actor, but, I'm sure he's grown in height as well.
Yeah, in fact, he was a little too small for the crutch, Tiny Tim's crutch last year. Now we have to make the crutch longer because he's grown about 3 or 4 inches, I think.
Good gracious.
Yeah, but
these kids grow so fast these days.
These days, yes.
He has gotten more confidence. And so I really, it's like with most people who are fresh to the stage, you constantly have to remind them, slow down and speak up. But I mean, what is he, 8 years old now, something like that? He came to us when he was 7. And Henry Alger, who plays the turkey boy at the end, shared the role of Tiny Tim with Teo last year. So they split performances. And Henry's back in the show again.
Oh,
and I tell you, they are 2 of the cutest kids, and that there won't be a dry heart in the house or dry eyes in the house when they're on stage. So
honestly, one of my absolute favorite jobs is working with youth actors, and seeing them come back time and time and again, and watching how they grow as actors, grow in confidence, and I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna cry when I see Teo.
yeah.
Is there any moments from rehearsals or things like that you would like to share? Anything you would like the audience to know before we begin wrapping up this recording?
Well, I'll tackle that just because I don't want to err on the side of ignorance or stupidity. Every director, really, in my opinion, is only as good as their stage manager. And one of the reasons I consented to do this show again was that Epi Jo Torres was going to be my stage manager. And she is perfect for me because she's OCD enough just to make sure she gets all those details done and keeps me on the straight and narrow path, because I'll just wander off in a corner and won't know what I'm doing.
Oh, Epi is absolutely fantastic.
And this goes to all the stage managers out there. Directors, we love you. Stage managers, you keep us good, you keep us honest.
And she's great with kids too.
Yeah, she is.
She's really good at herding cats.
Cats, let's not do cats again.
No. So any last thoughts that you would like to share, Dave or Chuck?
I just, and not being trite about it at all, but I'm just looking forward to this so much, mainly because it's a really fun show, and I think this is going to be a very fun production of it also. And the story just by itself is naturally uplifting. But I don't know if you've noticed or not, but during these, as we've gotten into a couple more rehearsals, got that under our belts, that the cast members are starting to get that feel of, whether they're feeling downtrodden in the moment or this is a happy moment or whatever, it's really starting to come out of everybody. And all of a sudden, we're already starting to get that feeling. And so if we're getting that feeling this early on, I think that it's really going to be conveyed very easily when we get it in front of an audience. So looking forward to it.
Oh, I love that. I love when you can feel that everybody is in that moment, and it's almost like you're not even like everybody stopped acting at that point. You're just feeling, and that's so beautiful.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm looking forward to seeing this production.
Good.
He was like, "Yeah, you've seen it how many times?"
Yeah.
No, I mean that. I am looking forward to it. How about you, Dave?
Yeah. So, Jessica, in a previous role, I worked with, back home in the middle United States, I worked with veterinary medicine students, those that had been admitted to a very competitive 4-year Doctor of Veterinary Medicine program. And one of the things we tried to work on very early and often was this concept of imposter syndrome. There were 12 applicants for every seat that we offered to first-year veterinary medicine students. And so a big part of it was being able to really, through actions and through words, to be able to really create this inclusive, dynamic atmosphere that told them, you belong here. You've worked to be able to get to this point. And so that's where I just have to be able to give a tremendous amount of credit to Jim, to Epi, and to every member of the cast and crew of this production of making sure that there hasn't been a moment where I've felt that imposter syndrome. They have made me feel like I have belonged since the moment I came back for callbacks and the very first rehearsal. And so I think that has really allowed me the opportunity to be able to feel like I can give my best to this role. And then finally, I'll just tell everybody, get excited for this, because I think what Chuck brings to the stage as Scrooge is that you're going to believe that Scrooge is the miser that he is at the very beginning of this story, but you're also going to believe without a shadow of doubt in your mind and in your heart that it's the man that you want him to be. He makes both of those men, both of those Scrooges, wholeheartedly believable, which I think is a monumental task, but one that he's not taking lightly, and one that I think will not only make you come out for a show in 2026, but potentially another one here in 2025. So I'm grateful to be able to be here and to be able to be a part of this cast and be a part of this production.
Well, Dave, I just wanted to say welcome to our community. We're so happy to have you. And I just want to thank all of you, lovely gentlemen, for just being so beautifully spoken and well articulate. It's been so wonderful just hearing your words and your thoughts about things. And if there's nothing else, all righty. That's all for today's episode of LTWS Backstage Chronicles. We hope you enjoyed this heartwarming look behind the curtain of A Christmas Carol and the people who bring the spirit of love and redemption to life. A huge thank you again to Jim, Chuck, and Dave for sharing their time, insights, and holiday cheer with us. If you liked what you heard, be sure to subscribe, leave us a review, and share this podcast with your friends and fellow theater lovers. You can find LTWS Backstage Chronicles on all major podcast platforms, and visit us at ltofws.org for more information about our upcoming shows and events. We also want to thank our 91st season media sponsors, Such and Such Media, for helping us tell our story. Until next time, I'm Jessica Perry, and as always, we'll see you at the theater. The views and opinions of this podcast are those of the contributor and not necessarily those of our distributors and hosting company. This podcast is copyrighted. Use of this podcast without express permission may result in alien blood-sucking plants taking over the world. You have been warned.